art students, families, parents, welcome back to the 2021 school year. I wish that we were under different circumstances, but we're not. So I thought I'd put together a video for all of you for back to school night and really go through the syllabus that I've put together for our art classes this year, and to talk about the expectations for the various things that are going to be happening with us for remote learning. So first things first, let's talk a little bit about art and what I am going to be doing with students in art this year in both high school and in junior high. Since junior high is a quarter class, all of my junior high classes will be the same each quarter, and we are focusing on the elements of art. I know that some of you that are enrolled in my junior high art classes have had me in previous years. So if you're an 8th grader and you might have had me in 7th grade, I do my very best to make sure that it's not a repeat of what you've already learned in art, and to try to take it at least to another level for you, or even doing different projects, but still really focusing on the line, shape, value, form, color, texture, and space. Those are those 7 elements of art. So that's junior high art. So for high school art, in quarter 1, which is going to be 9 weeks long, we are going to be focusing mostly on drawing. We are going to start off the year with 3 drawings, and those are going to be our baseline, and then we're going to build our skills from there. I used the book Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards, and in here there are, as you can see, I've tabbed them all, a bunch of different exercises and skill builders that are going to help us engage our brain. And we're going to be doing a lot of focusing on moving from the left side of our brain, which is the reasoning side, the naming side, the listing side, and moving, crossing into the right side of our brain, which is more of the creative side. Some of you artists are already there, and that's great. And so we'll keep working together at where you're at so that we can build on those creativity skills and take you to another level. And some of you aren't there, and so I'm going to help you bridge that gap and move into that right side of your brain. Okay. We're also going to be working with program called sketchnoting, where you're combining words with visuals when you take notes. And it's my hope that within this sketchnoting course that we're going to do together, that we're going to put those into other academic areas. So sketchnoting isn't just for art, it's for all areas. And in high school, that's where you really learn how to take notes and how to synthesize the information that you're learning. And so my hope, like I said, is that it's going to go into other academic areas and really help you become a better student. Finally, we are also going to be doing something called visual journaling, where you are going to be creating your own art in your sketchbooks. And I won't give you any kind of an assignment, but you do need to just create the art that you want to do. This is your chance to create and be creative within your sketchbook without any limits. The only thing that you're limited by is the supplies that you have. And when we're at home, that does limit us quite a bit. For some of us, and for some of us that opens up other doors. And so I really am going to ask you to, get into those creative juices and think about, what do I have at home that I can create for my visual journals? All of that we'll get into as the year goes on. So let's talk materials really quick. You should have all gone to the high school during material pickup day and gotten some materials for art. And so in junior high, all of you got one of these Blick sketchbooks. It's big. There's a lot. I got them big this year, knowing full well that we could potentially be in remote learning. Here we are. And I wanted you to be able to have a lot of space to create the art that we're going to be creating. So all of the art, when I ask you to create something in junior high art, is going to be in this sketchbook. And I do ask that you don't tear out pages in your sketchbook. That's a habit that I want you to get into, because artists really don't make mistakes enough to tear it out. We just learn our lessons, and we have, like Bob Ross says, happy accidents, and we turn it into something else, and we use our creativity to come up with a solution to the problem that just happened for us. And I really want us to get into that art artistic habit. Okay, so junior high, all of you got one of these sketchbooks, and then you should have gotten a baggie full of supplies that had markers, oil pastels, colored pencils. You'll have a 2B pencil in there, a 4B pencil, a couple of erasers, and you should have a Sharpie marker as well. And so all of those supplies are going to be what you need to get us through the first quarter of art, your junior high wheel art class for the year. High school, you should have gotten a black sketchbook that's hardbound, okay? And same thing, I want us to get into the habit of not tearing out pages in this sketchbook either. And your sketchbook is going to be full of all sorts of ideas and things. And in all of them, obviously it's your book and you can use it how you want. When I do go through your sketchbooks when we're back in person, it's easier for me to find things if you date the pages so that I can look through those and really find the pages that I'm looking for to give you points for your sketchbook assignments. But it's also a way for you to track your progress as well. This is a huge book that tracks your growth as an artist. And we're going to start with that first assignment that's going to show where you are at in your drawing skills. And then as you go through, you're going to see improvements, which is going to be really fun. High school, you also had 2 pieces of Bristol paper inside of your sketchbook. Those are going to be for some final projects, your final hand drawing and your final self-portrait drawing. So really make sure that you put those in a safe spot and use those for those assignments that I'm going to be assigning you coming up. And I also have other art supplies at my house. Some of you may have art supplies at your house. If we are working on an assignment and you have supplies of your own that you would like to use in that assignment, please feel free. I don't want to limit you in any way. I love that you have supplies that you're comfortable with and that you want to use. Go ahead and use them. I'm not going to stop you from that. That's only going to enhance all of your artwork. So please use them. If you don't have any other art supplies, the point was that I gave you enough of what you would need in order to do the assignments that I'm going to be assigning you. So we are remote. Welcome to remote learning. There are 3 things that I really want to talk to you when it comes to remote learning. I'm going to talk to you about synchronous learning, which means we're synchronized or we're all together. And that platform that we're going to be using for that is Zoom. So I'll talk to you a little bit about Zoom. Asynchronous learning, which is meaning not, synchronous means together, right? So we're not together, which is exactly what's happening in this video right now. It's asynchronous. You all are watching it on your own time, and we're not together live answering questions or doing learning that way. And then I want to talk to you about Google Classroom. I will be videoing and showing you how to get into Google Classroom, what it looks like to turn in an art assignment, and how to make sure that we get all of that completed so that you students can get the credit that you deserve for the art that you're creating at home. So let's talk about Zoom for our synchronous learning. In high school and junior high, we have 3 periods: first period, second period, and third period. First period is from 9 o'clock until 10:25. Second period is from 10:55 to 12:10. And then third period is 1:25 to 2:50. Okay, so I will be available on Zoom for that whole time. And what's going to happen, students, is that you're going to log in. So let's say you're in my first period class. So you're going to log in at 9 o'clock. You will see a bell ringer, and I'll show that in the video, a bell ringer activity that will be on my screen. And what's happening is I'm letting students into the Zoom meeting, and I'll only let you in if I recognize your name as somebody that is in my class on my list, okay? So when you come into the Zoom meeting, you're gonna come in. I do need to have your video on at first so I can see you, put eyes on you. I also understand that some of us live in areas where we can't have our video on the whole time. It slows things down. It just doesn't work out. So I do need it on for that first part, and I'll say good morning to you, and then you can turn off your video and our sound is off, and you'll be working on that bell ringer activity. It's a sketchbook activity that will be happening every single day as you enter into our Zoom meeting. So We'll go through I'll do attendance, and I'll make sure that everybody has seen and gone through the bell ringer. Those bell ringer activities will also be posted in Google Classroom. So if for whatever reason you are ill or you cannot make the Zoom meeting for that day, you can access those bell ringer activities in Google Classroom, and they will say what day each of those activities are for. Okay. So we'll get into the Zoom meeting to take attendance, and then I'll introduce whatever the task is, the assignment is for the day, or the project that we're working on. So all of that is going to take about 20 minutes, and that's where all of our learning happens together. Then I will still be on Zoom, but I do not require that students stay on Zoom because that is your work time. So you will have about 65 minutes to work. You can leave the Zoom meeting. That's totally fine with me. Like I said, my classroom will be open, and it's more like an office hours, or if you have questions, you can sign into Zoom. I'll hear that you're there. It dings me, and I can let you in, and you can ask your questions. We can engage in a conversation about your art, and then you can go on your merry way and keep working. Then at the end of class, for the last 10 minutes of class, what's going to happen is you're going to sign back into Zoom, where I take attendance again. So yeah, I'm taking attendance twice. That's really to ensure that you're getting the instructional minutes that you need, and to make sure that you're doing the job that you have right now as students, which is to be working on your schoolwork. So it's a question and answer period. Some formative assessments will be taking place, where I am going to ask you to report on what you worked on. You'll have a little exit ticket from me, something that is going to inform me of where we're going to go in the next few days, next day, whatever, as far as our art instruction goes. Okay, so that's what a Zoom meeting is going to look like. The Zoom link is in Google Classroom. I have posted it under the classroom classwork area. You'll see it. It will say it's under its own topic. It says Zoom link, and you can find it on the left side, or you can find it within each week or on top of the weeks. And I'll show you that when I get into Google Classroom and show you my screen. Okay, so the Zoom link is always there, and your specific link in the classroom tells you what time you need to show up for your Zoom meetings. So let's talk about our Zoom meeting expectations. So I expect you to, when you come into the Zoom meeting, I want you to be prepared, and I want you on time. I want you to use your full name so I can identify you. Otherwise, I will not let you into the Zoom meeting. I want you to come into the meeting with your sound on mute. That way, everybody can come in, and we're not worried about somebody's dog barking, or a conversation that's happening in the background, a TV show that's on in the other room. It's really important that you are in a place that is quiet, where you can really focus on the work at hand of your school day. So find that place, and then make sure you also have mute on when you come into the Zoom meetings. Like I said, your video does need to be on, and this is for attendance purposes, and then the video can turn off, and you can be a part of our Zoom meeting with your video off. That's totally fine with me. If you have a question or you want to speak, I do need you to click on the raise your hand button, and I will call on you, and you can unmute yourself and ask your questions. That's totally fine. But if everybody just starts talking, Zoom meetings don't work. So we really do need to be respectful of that when we're talking in the Zoom meeting. I don't want you to talk while I'm talking or while your classmates are talking. Again, it gets really crazy and it's hard to hear. So it's really important that we're on mute and we're listening when others are speaking. And then the chat. There is a chat function within Zoom. I really want us to use that minimally. This is not your own private messaging room. This is a classroom. And so if you do have a question for the whole group, please put it in the chat. If you don't want to ask it, I get it. I am a part of Zoom meetings too, and I don't always want to speak on Zoom meetings either. So if you have a question and you want to type it in the chat, great. The chat is not a place for you to ask friends about things that are going on in their lives outside of art. It's a place for us to talk about whatever it is that we're learning for that day, week, whatnot, okay? it's really important that you're not eating during our Zoom meetings. Like I said, for the first 20 minutes, we're meeting together and then you don't have to be on there. You will have plenty of time throughout the day where that 20 minutes you don't need to be eating during our Zoom meeting. People don't want to see you eating. People don't want to hear you. It's part of that common courtesy that we are all learning and understanding as far as the online world goes, okay? And then we need to maintain respect through our speaking, through our writing, and through our appearance in the meeting. So make sure you come to the meeting dressed as though you were going to school. Obviously, our meetings are usually from the waist up, and so we have a joke in our family that we all bought a brand new pair of sweatpants for the school year because it's remote learning, because nobody's going to see us in our sweatpants. But do remember that we will be seeing you. So make sure your wording on your shirts is appropriate, and just make sure you're respectful with what you are doing with our Zoom meetings. Okay, so let's talk about our asynchronous learning, which means not synchronized, which is exactly what's happening while you're watching this video. And I'll be posting these videos on YouTube. When we had remote learning in the spring, I created a YouTube channel, and all of those videos, those Tutorial Tuesdays that I did, are still there, and you're welcome to watch them. But our learning this year is going to be different. We're not going to have Mental Health Monday, Tutorial Tuesday, etc. It's actually going to be a lot more like what our classroom would look like if we were in person. And so it's really important that we're focusing in and getting into those synchronous Zoom meetings, but there will be asynchronous videos that I will be posting in Google Classroom as well. Now, some of those videos will be me, where I'm videoing myself talking to you or showing a demonstration or whatnot, but some of them are going to be videos that I have found on YouTube that are helpful art videos that I would be showing anyway in my classroom. Prime example is the elements of art, and there is an art teacher named Mr. New, and he's done some fabulous videos on the elements of art. And so for me, in an effort to not have to recreate the wheel, I am using those asynchronous videos as well as some of the videos that I post. And so if you are doing some asynchronous learning, it could be from me. It could also be from other teachers that do a great job with art as well that we will find on YouTube. All of them will be posted in Google Classroom attached to the assignment, so you don't have to go searching through and trying to find where all these things are. They will be in Google Classroom for you, okay? So the next thing that we're going to talk about is our Google Classroom. And to do this, I'm going to switch over into my screen mode, and I'm going to show you how to get into Google Classroom, what it looks like. My daughter Zoe graciously let me add her as a student so you could see it from the student side of things, not the teacher side. And parents, I understand that Google Classroom isn't necessarily parent friendly, and so I really encourage you to add yourself to your students' Google Classroom so that you can be a part of what they're seeing, and making sure that you are a part of their learning as well to help them as best you can. I understand being on the parent side of remote learning, and I understand that it's not easy for you parents because you're working full-time, as am I. Your kids are at home learning and you can't always be there to help them. And so we're all really working hard to do the best we can to work together to make it the best possible learning that we can, given the circumstances that we're in. Let's go through Google Classroom. This is one way that you can get to Google Classroom. This is my daughter's email account, and you can see this grid on the upper right-hand corner here. And if you click that grid, you can see there's your Google Classroom, which is going to bring up the classes that you are in. So I have Art 1 here. That's the classroom that she has agreed to be a part of. And when you open up Google Classroom, you're going to see this is your home page for that Art 1, Period 1. Okay, so up here, this is the time for our Period 1, which is 9 o'clock to 10:25 on every day except for Wednesdays. Wednesdays we're on a shortened day, and so it goes from 9 o'clock to 9:55. And here is my email address. So if you need to get a hold of me, that's a way to get a hold of me there. Okay. So this is the stream. This is where I will make announcements. Now, I have set up my classes so that the new assignments will not post in the stream. I felt like that was really overwhelming to see all of those new assignments come in the classroom announcement stream. And so I'm really saving this page to have announcements or things, questions that I'm posing to the group or whatnot, but not our classwork. So to get to our classwork, it's up here. So here's the stream where that home page is, and then you can get to your classwork by clicking up here. So now this is where you can see all of the things that are happening in Art 1 that I've posted so far. So the very first thing is our Zoom link, like I talked about. And you can see that Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 o'clock to 10:25 a.m. or Wednesdays from 9 to 9:55. And if you click on this launch Zoom meeting, it's going to take us into Open Zoom, and you will get this little thing that says waiting for the host to start the meeting. I haven't actually started the meeting yet because we're not Zooming quite yet, but this is where those Zoom meetings are going to take place. And that is, it'll also say waiting for the host to let you in. And again, I won't let you into that Zoom meeting unless you have a name, your name, that is recognized by me. Okay, so let's get out of that. That's our Zoom link. So you can see our topics are on the left-hand side here, and I will, like I said, I'm going to organize them by week. So there are the topics that I want you to always be able to find, and then you will always, then by week, each of the assignments will show up and under each week, and you can access it through the topics that way. Okay, so the next thing here is our art rubric. Okay, this is the rubric that we're going to be used to assess our projects, our artwork. And if you click on it, you can see that it's a 4, 3, 2, 1. There are some halves that can be put in there. And I do grade on all of these different things within our projects. And I'll go over that at the end of this video as far as what that looks like with grading and classwork assignments versus projects and artwork that way. Okay. So this is something that you can access anytime in Google Classroom. So to get out of that, we're going to go there. And then we start getting into our weekly stuff. So here's the syllabus. Okay, so you can review the material there. This is our art syllabus that really everything that I'm talking about in this video is I'm just covering what's inside of this syllabus. I've posted our Zoom meeting ID twice. It's right here on this second page. So for whatever reason, you can't get to the Zoom link, but you can get to this meeting ID. There it is. That's my personal ID with the password that's happening there. And it's also written up here, just in case you were wondering. And like I showed you earlier, it's in our Google Classroom. And then here are our bell ringer activities. So this is the week of September 2nd through the 4th. And if you click on it, it will open up a Google slideshow. It's a view only. And our first day, September 2nd, this is going to be the slide that I'm showing when you log into your Zoom meeting. So every slide has a word of the day where you're going to learn about a different art word. There's going to be a quote from a specific artist. So the first artist you're going to learn about is Paul Cézanne. And you're going to learn a little bit about his life. And then you see this daily draw. And this is where we're going to get into that habit of a daily sketchbook draw. So take several items from your desk or book bag, arrange them in front of you, and draw what you see. Now, I am not expecting these to be full-fledged final pieces of art. They are sketches and meant to be just that. Quick drawings where you're just practicing shapes and what the shapes look like. Some value if you want to put value, focusing on your lines, spacing, all of that, okay? And so this week there are 3, September 2nd, September 3rd, September 4th, and you can really know what day that day that you have for that bell ringer is down here on the bottom, and I'll put that in the notes of every class period that when I post that assignment, okay? And then there you will have assignments. So we have our first assignment is 3 drawings in your sketchbook. Let me move my screen down a little bit. And I'm going to view the assignment. So once you're in the view assignment page, you will see my written directions. I will include images to show what my expectation is. So here's my image, my drawing of a person from memory. I have my self-portrait, and I have my hand. Notice in all of them, I have dated them and signed them, and I've titled them. These are all my expectation of what you need to have inside of your sketchbooks as well. So I did this earlier. I'm going to delete that comment. Yep, I'm going to delete my comment. Okay. So this is how you turn in an assignment. So you have completed your 3 drawings and you want to complete your assignment. Well, do you see how this little button here says marked as done? If you do that, you cannot turn in an assignment. I really don't want you to mark anything as done. Okay, what's going to happen is you're going to add your assignment that you've just completed. So you're going to take a photo of your sketchbook pages. So you're going to have 3 separate pages to upload. Okay, so you're going to go into File, because that's where my sketchbook pages are that I've taken pictures of. And I'm going to upload it. Yeah, you could see it down there at the bottom, but I want to show you how to get it from your computer. So you push Browse, and then you should be able to find your files in the downloads of your computer. So here are my 3 files. So you can individually open each one and it'll attach there. Okay, you can do that. But now I only have 1 and I need to have 3. Okay, so I need to go back in and add some more files. So you can add as many files as you want. In this case, I want 3 because I've asked for 3 drawings. Okay, and so I could do that individually, or if I push Shift, then actually selects both of those and then click open. Now both of those extra files are now being added into my assignments and they're being uploaded. And once they're uploaded, now this button that did say mark as done, now it says turn in. And what you will see is in my assignments, I will always say to receive your points, take a picture of each of your drawings, attach them to this assignment, then select turn in. I'll know that you have attached it. You will know that you have attached it when this button is now saying turn in. Okay, so you'll select turn in. These are the ones that you want. Yes, it is. I'm going to turn it in. And now you are done with that assignment. It flips it back to me, the teacher, on my side of things, and I can see, oh, okay, you've completed that assignment. I can go in and actually grade it for you, okay? If you have questions about the assignment, this is a great place to ask a question. Does it matter who I draw from memory? So now I am going to get an email that says Zoe Ray has asked me a question in Google Classroom. So I can go back and answer and say, no, it does not matter who you draw from memory. It can be anybody that you want as long as it's from memory. The point is that you're not drawing from looking at someone. Okay, so that is what an assignment looks like in Google Classroom. So to get out of the assignment, you can just click back over here on Art 1, Period 1, and it'll take you back to that stream page, that home page there, okay? And then the last part of this is people. And there you can email me. It's a link to my email, okay? If you click on that, it's going to bring up a box that has my email address, and that's another way that you can get a hold of me. So that's how you can get a hold of me. Other teachers that you might see show up in these classrooms are Mr. Pugh or Miss Green. They might show up in our classroom. Miss Klinger, who is the CTE director, she might show up as a teacher in the classroom. And there may be other people as well. So if you need to get a hold of any of those people, their email addresses will be here. So that's Google Classroom for you. There's the stream where I'll make announcements here. Our classwork where you can find all of our assignments, and like I said, it will be by topics. The topics will be weekly topics, and there will be assignments. I will number all of my assignments. So number 001 will be the first one. They will all be in chronological order. Okay. And if you wanted to go into Google Class or Calendar, the assignments will be on there as well. The due date will always be here on the assignment. I should have shown that when you view the assignment, it will tell you when it's due and how many points it's worth. So this one's 3 points. It's due September 4th, and it looks like it's all done and turned in. So there's Google Classroom for you. Okay, so that's Google Classroom. And so now that you know how to turn in assignments or projects, let's talk about the grading of those. You saw where the rubric is that I'll be using most often, and that's really for those projects. So one of the things that I really haven't posted or put anywhere is that 75% of your grade is going to be projects, which is those big art projects that we're going to be spending more than one day on. High school art, that second week of September, that's going to be your first art project, where we're going to be using the elements of art to create a piece in our sketchbook with our name and showcasing those different elements of art. That's a project. That's 75% of your grade. Assignments are going to be like points. So those first 3 drawings that you do, which is the second day of school, is you're going to be drawing your hand, a person from memory, and a self-portrait. And for each one of those drawings that you complete, you're going to be getting 1 point. It's not really a rubric point. It's either you do it or you don't do it. And assignments are 25% of your grade. Bell ringers are assignments. So those sketchbook assignments that you're doing, you really just want to make sure that you're sketching every day. It's to get you into the habit of drawing and sketching. And I give you points for each day. So it's 1 point for every day that you do a bell ringer. So those are a couple of different examples of the difference between projects and assignments. Like I said, the projects will be using a rubric. It's that standard space grading. So we're working off of a 4-3-2-1 system, which then transfers into percentage grades in Skyward. And I don't just give 100%, 90%, 80%, 70%. I do in-betweens as well, because this is definitely a color world that we live in. And there's a lot of variances in colors, and so there is in our art too. In fact, grading in art is one of the hardest things for me, because I really truly believe that all of you are artists. And putting a grade or a number on it feels so counterintuitive for me. I really don't want to. So that's why I have that rubric in place, so that we can talk about those different parts of your art and help you improve in the areas that you need to improve in. So the last thing is communication with me. My email address, gray@montyschools.org. That's how you can get a hold of me, via email. I have it posted on the the Google Classroom in the header there. You can access it through Monty School's website. And I will also be emailing all of you as well with that email address. That's a great way to get a hold of me. I can access my email pretty much from anywhere. The other place that you can communicate with me is through Google Classroom. And I did show you in there that place where you can private message me. That's a great place to get a hold of me and talk to me. And ask me questions when we're not synchronous learning through Zoom. So Zoom is a great place to have those questions and answers in live format, like a face-to-face as best we can right now. But if you need your questions answered otherwise, then go ahead and email me or post a question in that private chat area in Google Classroom. So with that, I hope that this helps ease some fears that you might have over what remote learning in art might look like. I'm really excited for us to be engaging in art together at home. I really feel like art is one of those things that is going to help get us through all of what's happening in the world right now. It's a place where we can build our creative minds, and it's the creative minds and the creative thinkers that are going to help all of us beyond 2020 to be innovative and come up with answers to questions that are being posed right now that really nobody has answers for. So I really look forward to working with all of you. I look forward to seeing the art that you all are going to create this year and engaging in this remote learning together.